Like, yes, I understand your frustrations.
I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, I understand your frustrations. You know, I like Kathy Hochul in New York City. I mean, talk about egg on your face.
Right.
So, like, the day before, she had that press conference saying, under my administration, the subway is the safest it's ever been. A woman gets burned alive.
Oh my God.
On the subway.
All right, well, let's get into that one, yeah.
So, we do know that the suspect in custody.
Right.
Here in America, we're innocent until proven guilty.
Right.
He's the suspect on camera doing it. But he is innocent until he's proven guilty.
Oh, yeah.
I believe he's a Guatemalan national.
Okay.
Here illegally.
Okay.
He was apparently deported 6 years ago. And
really?
He found his way back to New York City.
Yo. 6 years ago?
6 years ago, he was apparently deported.
Okay.
Found his way back to New York City.
As you do. All the way in the East Coast. I don't know how you get that far from,
I mean, he might have been flown by some Catholic charity NGO.
Oh. There you go. Okay.
It's a possibility.
There's a lot of possibilities, yeah.
Could have been a coyote brought him across the border. We didn't search him for a free cell phone or debit card or hotel room to the Roosevelt Hotel.
Okay.
But yeah, as far as I know, they haven't released the name of the victim, but it was a woman who was apparently sleeping on the F train.
She was sleeping?
She was asleep.
Oh my God. Okay.
And he just walked up to her and set her on fire.
I guess one of the stories that I heard, though, was like, he was drunk, he was kind of yelling, and she was like...
As far as I know, from what I saw, she was asleep. She was asleep on the train.
Okay.
And he just set her on fire. And stood there and watched. And fanned the flames with his shirt.
Oh!
And there's also footage of the train in the station where he's just standing outside watching it. And a New York NYPD cop walks by and just looks in. And then gives that kind of, that ain't my problem, and then keeps walking.
Yeah, so I saw that part of the video where, because people are pretty upset about this cop.
They're pretty heated about that.
Yeah, just watching him go by. But I didn't know the guy was right next to the cop.
Yeah.
So the guy was just standing right there.
Yeah, he was standing there as the cop walked by. Yeah, he was watching it, and the cop just walks by. The cop looks in the smoke-filled subway train. And he's like, that ain't for me. And then keeps walking.
That's pretty heavy.
Yeah, and as I said, a couple of days before, Kathy Hochul, the governor of New York, had a press conference where she said, under my administration, the subway has never been safer.
Man, what is
She's now facing calls to resign, even though she won all of the New York City boroughs. The best one she got was New York County, which is where Manhattan is. Mm-hmm. She won that on a 65% margin.
That's all.
Basically, yeah.
Oh my God. What is it?
So I can confidently say they're getting what they asked for, but
this is also the same woman who said the blacks need
a computer. They don't know what a computer is. Kids in, I think, the Bronx, they don't understand computers. Oh, and there were also right after the infamous subway burning, 2 more people got stabbed at Grand Central Station.
What? In the past, after that happened?
Yeah, this week. It's been a busy week on the subway.
Jesus Christ.
And there's also National Guard on the subway.
No way.
Yeah, they called the National Guard, but that's an older thing. There's been National Guard soldiers on the subway for a while now.
And nothing has changed? It got worse, even though they were...
Yeah, they were in the photo op with Kathy Hochul. She put a really nice video out on Twitter. She's like, hi, I'm Governor Kathy Hochul, and look how clean and safe the subway... she's she's shaking hands with the riders on the subway, and look how clean and safe it is, and...
I can't remember the last time New York subway has gotten this bad. I mean, I remember people just talking about the homeless people bothering people, or just the smell, the rats, the usual.
Yeah, the aggressive panhandling, the guys who hit drums or buckets with drumsticks.
That's right. Or people jumping over the the
Oh,
tourniquet.
turnstile. Yeah.
But never was there like back-to-back news of like people dying, people getting burned, now people getting shanked.
Yeah.
Like the escalation just seems absolutely wild.
Yeah. AOC was on Twitter saying, what's that guy's name? Daniel Penny?
Yeah, Daniel Penny.
Yeah, she's saying he should be in jail. I mean,
she's-
it's basically
she's
the
gone.
Penny effect. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sure somebody saw this woman getting burned and was like, no, I ain't messing with that.
Yep. Yeah.
Like, I'm not going down for that.
You know, the video even when I saw when the cop was passing by, I was trying to I was trying to look at it from the cop perspective. First, I didn't know that there was the guy who did it was like right by
Yeah,
it
he was
watching
right
this.
there. Yeah.
That changes everything.
Yeah, if you watch the video, he's like the guy in like the gray sweat. He's wearing like a gray hoodie or a gray sweatshirt or something.
just watching it,
Just watching, yeah.
because the small video I saw, it looked like she's basically dead at that point.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it took long.
Because she wasn't even moving. Like the
yeah, I
body
mean,
wasn't-
yeah.
Dude, imagine that being your kid or like your sister, or how are you gonna think of humanity? How are you gonna think of like just cops in general? Just watching somebody who's they're not no one's doing
Well-
nobody did anything. Everybody's kind
mean-
of walked away.
You can ask anybody with any experience of New York, anybody who's lived there, like they already have a very low opinion of the NYPD.
So they're just like, yep, this seems.
They're
about...
like, yeah, that tracks.
Whew.
I mean, the NYPD, they released police shooting statistics
Yeah.
from contact distance out to 5 feet, right?
Oh no.
The NYPD has a less than 50% hit rate.
What?
Yeah. From the gun barrel touches you to 5 feet, they have a 50% hit rate.
Okay, that's pretty scary.
And it gets way worse every foot back you go.
What
Like, it
wa-
gets exponentially worse when you go out to like 10 feet.
That is absurd.
Yeah, so generally, if there's an NYPD shooting, if you're the suspect, you're in less danger than the bystanders.
That's depressing. That's actually pretty sad.
Oh, yeah, the highest paid NYPD staffer also just retired.
Retired.
Yeah, she was sleeping with her boss. She got over $200,000 a year in overtime.
In just over. This is not
Just
her.
overtime.
This is not her salary.
Yeah,
on
I think
top
she was
of
making
it.
about $400,000 a year.
Overtime sleeping with her boss.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know if that was included in the overtime or
he's like,
but
I'm
she was known to sleep with her boss.
I'm gonna put this in number for you. Just come
Yeah,
hang
I
out with
mean-
me for 2 hours. I got.
Yeah, I mean,
don't
she
worry
was
about it.
working literally like 120 hours a week.
That doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
What is it?
But that's NY politics, though.
Oh, dude, going back to your boy, what's his name? Dagger.
Yeah.
Did you know that the post that was sent out? That was his son. So he's the president. His son is the vice president. Do you understand?
Well, yeah. I mean, I didn't know they were related, but
Oh, dude, I just put it together. I was just like, wait, there's two names here. There's Harold, and then there's Dan or something.
Dennis.
Dennis, yeah.
Yeah, I saw
Dennis
the
is the
Dennis.
son.
Yeah, I saw the Dennis, and I was like, oh, I wonder if that's like his given real name. Like my name's like Dennis Harold Daggett, but
Yeah.
everybody just knows me as Harry
Yeah.
because my dad was Dennis. No, I didn't know that. Yeah, it was a father and son duo.
It's father and son, and apparently it's a generate. As you were saying, like you wouldn't be surprised if he used to work there, and then
Yeah, it's generational.
It's a whole generational.
Yeah,
So yeah,
that's how unions work. I mean,
Eric Adams,
yeah,
isn't he getting investigated right now? But he's literally everywhere. Like he's just doing it. He's just going about his
yeah.
day.
I mean,
Didn't
the
half
timing-
of his staff
yeah.
already resign? Like who's there?
I mean, just wait for the Ricos to come.
Oh my god.
I mean, Eric Adams, though, the timing on that was kind of coincidental, though, because he kind of started being a little sweet on Trump, and now he's under investigation.
Are you sure it's not the other way around? Are you sure that what is it? After the investigation, he started being sweet on Trump because he was getting no help from the other side.
The timing was pretty close, but I mean, Eric Adams has become increasingly critical of the migrant situation in New York. He's
No,
like,
that's true. That's true.
we
yeah.
cannot hide this anymore. This cannot be swept under the rug. It's like, there are no rooms available at the Roosevelt Hotel. New York City goes through phases and waves. I mean, like the movie Taxi Driver,
Yeah.
the late 70s. New York City was an absolute hellscape.
Okay.
I mean, it was dystopian as dystopian could be. Like, Times Square was nothing but peep shows and pimps and pushers and, like, prostitutes.
Right.
All the P's. All the bad P's.
All the pusher P's, yeah.
Yeah, pushers, pimps, prostitutes,
Yeah.
peep shows.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, just like,
There's just no way.
yeah, I mean, and you are helpless. Like,
There's just too many people.
Nobody's come, like Daniel Penny. Nobody is coming. They want you docile, disarmed, and just stoically accepting whatever fate comes your way. These are nasty, nasty people, and they're completely delusional too. I mean, like, look at the Denver mayor, right?
Right.
I forget what his name is, but I mean, like, he looks like the type of person who would enjoy to eat a Snickers bar upside down, so as the veiny texture could be on his tongue. Just saying.
Okay.
But anyway, he's another one. He's like, I will call up a citizens militia to resist Donald Trump from deporting our illegal immigrant neighbors. And it's like, who's going to be in that militia? The people getting terrorized in the apartment buildings in Aurora?
Yeah.
Look at Germany. Like, AFD has a point. What could possibly be said about the poor Germans?
Right.
I mean, you know, everybody at this point knows about the Magdeburg Christmas massacre car.
Is Magdeburg just the name of the place?
Now, Magdeburg it's a small city west of Berlin.
Okay.
So it's roughly where Berlin is, but kind of it's west of Berlin.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, what's to say? I mean, a Saudi Arabian psychiatrist rams a car into a Christmas market.
Yeah, have you been hearing all the explanations what this guy might be?
I've been hearing a lot of stuff. I mean, he's like a Saudi national. He's lived in Germany 20 years. He works as a psychiatrist. He posts a lot of stuff on Twitter. He's supposed to be like an apostate. He's left Islam. He writes a lot of stuff about stop Germany from becoming a Muslim caliphate. He rails against there's too many Muslims in Germany. There's too many Arabs in Germany.
Right.
The irony of that must be lost on him. I mean, also there's a lot of irony too. So, you know, this is the AFD, you know, the Germany for Germans party, right?
Mm-hmm.
So apparently they held a rally in Magdeburg, you know, because this is their bread and butter,
That's
as
right.
it were. There's a good deal of irony on that too, because they're one of the leaders of the AFD. Her name's Alice Weissler, I believe. Weissler? Something like that. But she's a leader of the Germans for Germany party, right?
Right. Oh, is it the one the lady who gave like a speech where she was crying?
She might have, yeah.
Yeah, she's like, this is getting ridiculous. This is getting out of hand.
This is getting out of hand.
Yeah.
But she's also a lesbian.
Oh.
Whose partner is Sri Lankan.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's juicy irony in the Germany is for Germans party.
That is hilarious.
My wife is Sri Lankan.
Okay. To defend her, I'm sure she meant like ideology-wise, not necessarily your ethnicity. Because these people ideologies goes against what the Germans stand for.
Yeah, I mean,
I think she she should be fine. I mean, you have to be literally racist to think that that's a problem.
Yeah, I mean, I just think it's, you know,
it's definitely funny,
yeah,
but
no
I think,
foreigners in Germany except my foreigner.
What? Except my. No, I will like to interpret it when people say Germany for Germany for Germans. I don't think they're talking about the color aspect of it. I think they're talking about the ideology aspect of it.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a small group of people who are definitely mean Germans for white people and stuff. But I generally believe most of these politicians, they're looking at it like it's a Western idea, it's a Western world. We don't like you bringing your caliphate ideas here.
Yeah,
and that's, anybody can get on board with that. It doesn't necessarily have to be your color aspect of it. It just has to be your ideology.
That's the thing, though, too. I mean, like, you know, it's also a safety thing, too. I mean, like, you know, if you're an older German or an older Swedish or, you know, like, you don't even really have to be that old, honestly. I mean, like, you can remember a time when they didn't have anti-vehicle barricades up at every Christmas market.
That's crazy.
You know, I mean, like, you do not have to live like that. You know, like, they have, like, dump trucks that they park in front of the entrance to the Christmas market so cars can't just drive into them, you know? I mean, like, there's anti-vehicle barriers all over Europe now. You don't have to live like this. You didn't used to live like that.
Right.
You didn't used to have to worry about getting burned alive on the subway.
Did you see that video of, I think it was the Imam was talking about, he's like, you know, we're not telling them to not have kids, you know? And, you know, I was looking at the statistics, I was looking at the numbers. He was like, I guess there was a city where somebody burned the Quran.
Yeah.
And then he was saying, if you think about it, you know, the city where this guy burned the Quran, there's like the population, like 90% of them are Muslims. He goes, all we have to do is just wait out for a generation or two, and it's just going to be ours. You know what I mean? And it's not our fault. I'm not saying this like, you know, to say we're taking over, but it's like, we're having kids, you know, the right way. It's like, they don't want to have kids. So it's like, we don't have a problem with it. But like, if we just wait it out, this could be all ours.
I mean,
and I was kind of holy shit, this guy's making some great points. He's right.
He's saying the silent part out loud.
He's saying the silent part. Like, he is technically right. He's like, if there's already counties where 90% of the people there are Islamic, you know, they're Muslims, and and it shows the numbers already that the natives over there they're not repopulating at all. Who's repopulating? He literally goes, MashaAllah, you know, we're having 7 to 8 kids, you know. We're not telling them not to have those kids, but we are doing it, you know. We're having these kids. 7, that's a wild number, you know what I mean? If you compare it to the natives who are having like 1 or 2. 7?
If that, 1 or 2.
If that. So, I mean, from their perspective, yeah, they just have to just wait, and it'll all come together.
Yeah, I mean, demographics is destiny, but that argument also is slightly misleading because these guys who are having 7 or 8 kids, I mean, they're generously paid by the government to do that, though, in the form of welfare and stuff. I mean, like,
how would that change regardless?
I mean, like,
wouldn't that
if you gave the locals, like, you know, I mean, like, when they cross the U.S. border illegally, you know, I mean, they get a room at a hotel, they get a cell phone, they get a debit card, like, right. You know, medical, you know, I mean, these are all things the native born population doesn't get or have access to. I mean, you know, so I mean, if I got paid to have 8 children, I would too, you know. I mean,
do you really think it would change?
I mean, it's definitely a question of incentive.
It's definitely a question of incentive, but like,
I mean, the locals are broke and beaten down and tired.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
And they work 2 jobs and they have no hope.
Well, I get all that, but I'm saying, like, what is it?
Meanwhile, these guys are getting generous welfare payments.
I'm not arguing
that. And they don't have to work.
But don't you think it's more of a culture than the actual welfare aspect? I mean, the welfare is also part of the culture as well.
Yeah, it's both. I mean, it's definitely both. I mean, a lot of these guys definitely come from a part of the world where having a large family is a flex.
Exactly.
You know, so I mean, they do have that mindset, but they also get generous food stamp allowances from the government too to facilitate that.
That is true as well. Yes.
So I mean, yeah, if you know, it's both definitely, but yeah, I mean, they definitely
let's control.
It's a cottage industry having children.
Yeah, because I mean, what is it? The Chinese and the Koreans are doing everything they can to incentivize people having kids, and that's not happening. I mean, they have all kind of programs, but it's not working because culturally they're just so much It's like it's too late.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think it's more like, I think it's right that we should cap the. I think it would help a good amount if they just cap all these welfare. But I think it's still a need of generational people to look at this as in like, hey, we should have kids.
Yeah.
And that would be like the next. I think this generation is too late. I think these are grandfathering people. I think we should think about the next generation coming up to incentivize them to be like, hey, these are the benefits of having kids, and we should really harp into those situations.
I mean, a lot of it is two arguments that aren't the same that have to be right at the same time that can't be right at the same time, right? Because, like, you know, if you look at Gen Z, right? Gen Z's of the prime childbearing age, right?
Right.
If you look at Gen Z, the climate change drum has been beaten into their heads, right? They think, like, we're the last generation to live, climate catastrophe, point of no return, hopeless. Like, Gen Zs have very little hope for the future, right?
Exactly. No, I agree.
How true that is or not, we can argue, but the perception is we have no future here, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, housing prices, inflation, like, the people who are of prime childbearing age, like, they've had all their hope beaten out of them, right? Like, they think they're going to be the last generations of humans to live because of climate catastrophe.
All right.
But you're also telling them, if you don't have a bunch of kids, the economy collapses. So, I mean,
true.
it's like the messaging here is very contradictory.
That is true. Yeah.
You know, like, we're counting on you to have kids, but we're also counting on you to not have kids and save the planet.
That is true. Yeah.
So which one is it? Which one's true?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think people should be more honest about these kids. I mean, there's a lot of agendas that are a lot dangerous. I mean, the climate change is one thing that's very much does a lot of harm than good in general. You know what I mean? Just scaring kids.
Yeah, I mean, they whip them into an absolute frenzy. I mean, like, they whip them into so much of a frenzy, they throw soup on Rembrandt.
How silly is that? You see these people getting dragged out of the street.
Glue your hand to the street.
Yeah, so I would
just... but they whip them into that frenzy, you know?
Yeah.
How true it is or isn't the argument. I mean, that's their perception, though, you know?
Yeah.
And the older generation has done nothing to dispel them of this.
Yeah, they assume they would grow out of it.
Yeah, they'll grow out of it. It's a phase. Kids will be kids.
No, these are grown-ass people now. They're in their 20s.
Yeah, I mean, the indoctrination took hold.
Yeah. And the schools, obviously, that's another point where they're supposed to be grown out of are actually encouraging them.
Teachers, unions.
Oh, my God.
You know, but I mean... It's also tricky, though, too, because, I mean, most of these, like, population collapse arguments, I mean, to me, they just sound like big corporation simpery, though, too.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, they're like, who's going to be around to work the jobs? Says the same people rushing to automate literally everything.
Right.
Right? You know, so it's like, no one's going to be able to work because there aren't going to be anybody.
Right.
But let's automate everything. Like,
right.
Which one's true?
Yeah, I mean, for that one, I was just gonna say, you know, I know there's a lot of people worry about population going down. I'm actually okay with it. I think I support it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, we should shrink it back down.
Yeah, they're like, who's gonna buy the rubber dog shit from China? That's what it comes down to. Like, where's our consumers gonna be?
Yeah,
you know, and plus too, they're like, I think honestly, they're worried about having to pay higher wages if there's less people. Because that's the one thing that broke the feudal system in Europe was the Black Plague.
Okay, I mean, that would be consequences of it, but I don't think they're thinking about it from that perspective.
I mean, that's way downstream.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, you know, that was the one thing that broke the feudal system was the plague. It's like wages went way up after the plague because if you were still alive to work,
right,
you knew your worth then.
I'm alive, bro. You know,
I'm alive. Yeah, you
alive,
need workers. Yeah. I physically exist where a lot of people don't.
But isn't the same thing happen in London just like a day or two ago in their holiday market instead of saying Christmas market?
Oh yeah, the guy was going around. He's like, "Oi, mate, is it Merry Christmas or no? Wait, he was going. Is it a Christmas market or a holiday market?" And all the vendors at the stalls, they were like, oi, mate, it's a holiday market.
It's a holiday market.
He's
but it's
oi,
Christmas.
mate, where's Christmas? He's like, oi, we don't want to offend nobody. And he's like, what'd you mean?
I like that one guy who's just like, no, it's Christmas, okay? It's Christmas, all right? And
Yeah,
he's like, whoa,
like,
whoa, whoa, whoa.
The most English-looking Englishman you've ever seen, with that big, long beak of a nose.
Yeah. No, it's Christmas, okay?
Oi, mate, we celebrate Christmas here, mate.
He's like, don't you think that's offensive? I know it's offensive.
He's like, make offensive great again.
Oh, he was like, I know it's offensive. I don't care about that. But I heard like,
I'm sure the Bobbies came to his house later that day.
but I think somebody also did the same thing they did to Germany. Somebody drove through and the suspect was in custody. They just didn't release his identity. And so that's another place where, we already talked about England.
England's goose is cooked.
Yeah, we already talked about England. I mean, at this point, I think it's funny that they're actually coming out and just being clear with it. It's like they're pointing. There was a video I was watching. They were pointing it out to like Birmingham or.
Oh God!
10 years
Birmingham.
ago.
Yeah, Birmingham was ground zero.
They're like 10 years ago. You see the birds chirping and whatever, and then they're like, now you see like hundreds of people just praying.
The call to prayer.
Yeah.
And shisha.
Oh my God, they're like, crime is out of control. There used to be no crime. You know what I mean?
Oh, I mean,
something like that.
Some of the best Indian food you could ever have is in London. If you want good Indian food, go where the Indians are.
Oh my God.
But I mean, like, this also highlights like a larger problem in society too. Like, we definitely live in like a post-celebrity world, and like guys like Jay-Z don't realize this yet. I mean, like, they think that, I mean, like, the 2024 election really laid it out, right? I mean, it laid it bare for all to see. Like, celebrities don't matter anymore. I mean, Kamala Harris had everybody reading a hostage note. I mean, Beyonce was up there. Leonardo DiCaprio, Robert De Niro, Eminem, like everybody was up there, and they're like
the Avengers.
She
literally had the Avengers come together.
The entire cast of the Avengers, vote Kamala, and everybody's like, nah, fuck that. So I mean, the fact that like Jay-Z's got his own problems, with the he's kind of in some hot water right now.
No, he's killing it. He destroyed it. He's literally, he did so good of going against his allegation. Now people are questioning the lawyer who submitted that allegation.
I mean,
dude, this guy is so powerful, bro.
Yeah,
okay?
Jay-Z is kind of King Midas. Like,
bro,
what he touches does turn to gold, but
yeah.
I mean, like, the Diddy party thing, I mean, it's like, these are all dirty, dirty people,
His lawyer came out and said they weren't even friends. He was not even at the, what did he say?
I don't even know Diddy. Who is Diddy?
That's exactly where they're at. That's what they're at, yeah.
See, and some of these people still believe it, but others are just like, I don't care what Jay-Z has to say about anything.
That's true.
Jay-Z don't know me. Like, Jay-Z's not going to take up for you.
That's true. That's true.
I mean, like, yeah, we live in a post-celebrity world. Like, their influence is negligible at this point. Yeah, I mean, like, and also celebrity is just way too accessible to common people now, too. I mean, you can be a good-looking girl with a nice little bubble ass, and you can get 1 million followers overnight, and now you start thinking, I'm a celebrity. Like, it's too easy. Anybody can do it,
That is true.
Like, Hawk Tuah is a celebrity. Like, that's considered a celebrity. She has more social media followers than probably Jay-Z does, I mean...
Yeah.
Like, Jay-Z's been in the game longer, but who has a wider net of influence?
That's right.
Did Jay-Z do a crypto coin?
He did not.
Jay-Z didn't do a pump and dump crypto scam. Does he need to? No.
He's trying
Could
to
he pull it off? I don't know.
He's trying to get in a hotel. What is it? He's trying to open a casino in Times Square. Yeah. So the story is that, what is it? He's trying to open this casino in Times Square, and about the same time is where this allegation came out. So the lawyer was trying to take advantage of him. He's trying to get this deal going, and you obviously don't want any bad publicity trying to get this deal. So he basically went to Jay-Z and be like, hey, bro, I got a case against you. Give me some money or else I'm putting this out. And obviously you don't want this out at this time while you're competing to get this contract to open this casino here. So this guy, Jay-Z, was just like, hey, man, I'm not doing that. Are you kidding me? So that's when the thing came out about the same time with this whole thing's going on. So he's been going really hard, like as aggressive as possible, because obviously he doesn't want his image to be ruined, which right now is too late. So, I mean, he should have paid the guy. They should have paid him. So now I don't even think he's going to get this casino deal.
See, I mean, that's what I always wonder about, too, with these deals. Like, do these guys always hold up their end of the bargain? You know, I mean, like, if you pay me the money, this will never see the light of day. Does he actually follow through with that?
That's a great point. I don't know how that works.
Yeah, like,
I'm sure.
Like, what is the honor among these thieves?
I would assume they would have lawyers if it would be like, once this is done, you're never allowed to.
NDAs, yeah, a lot of NDAs.
Yeah, remember we talked about Ronaldo's NDA. He's like 70 years after I'm dead. See? That's when you can talk about it. That's fire, bro. Those are the NDAs
nobody's going to be alive then.
Who cares?
But that's the other thing, too. I mean, it's like, we've become desensitized to scandal, right?
Right.
You know, I mean, Epstein parties, Diddy parties, you know, I mean, it's kind of shocking in the moment, but when you think about it, you're like, yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, once it settles, you're like, oh, yeah.
I could see that.
You put 1 and 2 together and be like, oh, yeah.
Yeah. Hollywood is no stranger to scandal, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to me, it's even more odd when somebody isn't embroiled in scandal.
All right, let's go to the Biden, the staff. You know.
Oh yeah, I mean, anybody who's been paying attention should have been able to realize that Biden was cognitively impaired. But
right.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that I don't understand why it came out now that, you know, like why now, you know, how Biden operate, you know, how the White House operated with a cognitively impaired Biden. Like, I just don't understand why they're letting it out now.
You think this is like you think there's a feud going on between him and Kamala staff?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it was no secret that Biden hated Kamala.
So it could be that, you know, it could be like people are from one side and the other are sick of, you know, what they've been hearing. I mean, people, we knew there was going to be a huge thing coming out anyway. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I didn't believe even if she would have won, this stuff would have still came out.
Yeah, I mean, Biden felt personally betrayed by the DNC that, like, he wanted to keep running. You know, he was forced out.
Well, I mean, what is it? If you, when I was reading this, I mean, this is pretty blatant that, what is it? He had no idea what was going on. Like, it wasn't him at all.
Yeah,
he wasn't even having cabinet meetings. It was like
he had zero cabinet meetings in 2023.
Think about.
Whereas Trump had like 125.
Dude, think about that. I mean, he's not having cabinet meetings, and he's complaining that he should still run. He should still be the front runner. Are people not gonna be like, "What are you, out of your mind?" Like, we're not gonna keep doing this for another 4 years.
Yeah,
it just makes no sense.
You know, and like the aides, all his aides did everything for him. I mean, you know, you could look at some of his like press conferences, what few that he did, or his appearances, what few that he would do. You know, like they were very short. You know, they were always late in the day. You know, I guess that's when they found he functioned better. You know, there was like a certain time when he would be most coherent.
Right.
It's called sundowning. And yeah, if you would look at his press conferences or anything, like, you know, he would give his speech and like the press would try and answer questions, you know, and then sometimes he would like stop and think about it for a second. And then he'd walk back to the podium.
That's true.
You know, and then he'd have like slips where he's like, I'm not supposed to answer questions. But, you know, there were also the aides too all the time. You know, I mean, like if he started like saying something he wasn't supposed to, or like if he started walking back to the podium, you'd always hear these like shrill womanly voices in the background, like, thank you, thank you, thank you, you know, like thank you everybody for coming out, you know, and you know, like
voices.
You know, like
Do you think you remember the interview that he did with, I don't know if it was Lester Holt or something, where they asked him like, "Hey man, are you gonna pardon your son?" And he's like, "No." Are you sure? No, no, no. You think he just
no one
completely...
is above the law,
Yeah.
except if you're Hunter Biden.
You think he completely just forgot about him actually saying that to the public, and then like right now when he came down to it, he's like, "Yeah, well, why are we not pardoning my son?" "Well, you said you weren't gonna do it." "What? I've never said that."
Yeah.
You think he just kind of forgot about it, and then like, what is it? Hunter was just like, "Hey, bro, where's my pardon? Time is ticking, man. I need that pardon." And then he's like, "Oh, I didn't get the pardon for you. Let me just get in there." And I'm pretty sure the staffs are just like, "You said you weren't gonna do it," and he's like, "I don't remember saying it."
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. Yeah, I mean, you know, who knows what he actually understands about what's going on or not. I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
like, you know, like most people should have sucked down the red pill on this at least when the classified documents thing came out, and his own DOJ decided to not prosecute him because they felt that he would be too sympathetic to the jury as a confused, well-meaning old man. Like, literally, Trump's been on trial every single day since the election ended, right? But meanwhile, they're like, no, Biden's too incompetent to stand trial.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, he's been technically running the country, but he's too incompetent to stand trial?
That's right.
Like, who's in charge here?
That's right. Yeah.
You know, I mean, historically, there is precedent for this. Like, Woodrow Wilson had a stroke. He was functionally bedridden.
Right.
And the controversy is his wife was acting as the president.
Yeah, I mean, that part doesn't really surprise me.
Yeah, so if it came out that Dr. Jill was just doing everything, I mean, I could see that.
She was in some meeting. She was in cabinet. Remember that?
Yeah, she was in, yeah.
So we knew this was happening.
She campaigned harder than her husband did.
President Jill Biden.
Yeah, President Jill.
Yeah, I mean,
it's Dr. Jill.
I think people were kind of just like, we all knew what was going on, and we were just kind of like, okay, let's just let this pass. You know what I mean?
It's like an open secret. It's like everybody knows, nobody wants to say it, and then you've got guys like Scarborough, like, this is the sharpest Joe Biden has ever been. Biden is at his best.
But did you see that everybody kind of like, when he went and kissed the ring, as they would say?
Oh, he went straight to Mar-a-Lago.
That was so funny. He
went straight to Mar-a-Lago. You know, that's all it takes. So, you know, I mean, you just need one and the dam breaks, you know. I mean, like, somebody was like, oh, shit, heads are going to roll. I got to get ahead of this or I'm going to be on the table, too.
Yeah.
Shit, Joy Reid just got offered a pay cut or firing because nobody watches MSNBC anymore.
Good. I don't know. Didn't she say she was going to leave social media? Why am I still seeing her in Twitter? I thought she left Twitter.
Rosie O'Donnell was supposed to leave America, and she's still here running her mouth. She gets up on TikTok or Twitter.
She was actually one of the biggest one. Going off on Joe. What's his name? Joe's Scarborough. She was
Turncoat.
Yeah.
Turncoat. Benedict Arnold. Yeah, Rosie O'Donnell was supposed to leave 8 years ago, and she's still up here being like, hi, Twitter. It's a bad day. I'm mentally unwell. Yeah, no shit.
Oh, my God.
Meanwhile, Trump's back on Twitter calling you a fat pig again. Trump won. Like, he's back on Twitter.
I agree. Yeah.
Like, Trump beat them all.
Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe I definitely think it's like one of Kamala's staff who put this report out. Like, they're like, yeah, get this out of there. This guy's...
Yeah, I mean...
And I think they're just sick of hearing all the negativity towards Kamala. That they're like, maybe we should have never took Joe off. You know, Joe should have probably run. He would have had a better chance than Kamala had. And I think they're all sick of that noise. They're like, this guy, you think this guy would have done better than me? Look.
After the last debate... When Trump literally goes,
oh my God,
I have no idea what you just said.
And I don't think you do either,
I don't
Joe.
think you do either. Like, if that wasn't a defining moment in the campaign.
Oh my God, dude, that was good. That was
like,
good. Yeah.
Trump ran the court on Biden.
That was good.
Yeah, I mean, there's got to be so much shit from this administration. I mean, like, all it takes is one intrepid person, and I mean, like, the dam's just gonna burst. You know, I mean, like,
There's gonna be so many books.
Yeah,
There's gonna be so
there's
many
gonna be so
books.
many tell-alls.
Yeah.
I mean, we're gonna look back on this and be like, how could we have been so blind?
Well, I mean, again, you know, I think most Americans got the gist. Like, we understood the gist, but it's just like we would not know how deep that it was. I mean, just the fact that they were saying they knew this guy was having in the paper there in the article they were saying that his donors, they would write them like pre-questionnaire cards to them, and they would ask him these questions, and he still would have problems.
Yeah.
They're like, let me get this straight. You wrote these questions for me, and I'm asking him these. He can't even answer the question that you want me to answer him. What's the point of this anymore? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I thought that was wild, honestly.
Yeah, sometimes you would see on Twitter where it's like if there was a camera like over his shoulder, you know, they would like zoom in on his note cards, and it would be like real basic stuff. It would be like enter stage from left, exit stage to right, or it would have like everybody's name. You know, it would have like a seating chart, so he couldn't. You know,
let me call
he had
on.
to remember, yeah. You know, Joe Scarborough. You know, yeah, like.
Oh, I just think it's funny that like
shaking hand, bro. If your grandfather tried to shake hands with the ghost, like somebody who's not there, your grandfather tried to shake hands with somebody who's not there, you'd be like, "I'm sorry, Grandpa, we're gonna have to take the car keys from you."
I think it's over here. Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm sorry, Grandpa, you're gonna have to go into the memory care.
Yeah. And I think there's more going to come until before January the 20th.
Yeah, no, Trump's trying to make colonialism great again, apparently.
Yeah, so what motivated him to even speak out about this, you know?
Yeah, so apparently for Greenland...
That's right, there's also the Greenland... Go ahead.
Yeah, and he also wants to steal Greenland away from Denmark.
Okay, yeah, what is this?
So Greenland's issue apparently is we already have a Space Force base there.
Okay.
But also apparently the Russians have become interested in Greenland also.
Okay.
As like a possible site for a strategic base. I think they're seeing it like Cuba they did. It's like we could put missiles in Greenland and we'd be right there by America.
Right.
We could strike first or, you know, whatever. So I mean, I think Trump's issue is, yeah, from a strategic perspective, Greenland would be good for us to have so the Russians can't have it.
Okay.
But also apparently, I didn't know this, but Greenland is very rich with oil and rare earth minerals.
Oh, yeah, climate change is even bringing up even more.
Yeah, we don't hear about climate change. Don't Trump in now.
Yeah.
We ain't got no solar panels. We
But
got oil, baby.
Yeah, go ahead.
But yeah, Greenland is very rich in oil and rare earth minerals. It's under 5 feet, 5 miles of ice, but if you can get to it, the riches are there.
Right.
So that's possibly a reason he would be interested in that too, is steal their wealth.
So those are two main reasons. Because I know even...
strategic importance and mineral wealth.
He was talking about this even during his...
Yeah, he wanted that before, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so what's going on with the Panama Canal then?
Panama Canal is another funny one. So apparently, we used to control the Panama Canal, right?
Right.
You know, we built it for them. But apparently Jimmy Carter ceded control of the Panama Canal to the Panamanians, under the assumption that it would remain neutral or like perpetually new. You know, it's like everybody's Panama Canal. You know, everybody's supposed to be able to use it, right? But Panama's been the benefactor of a lot of Belt and Road Initiative money. There's a lot of Chinese influence in Panama. I think that they've also enlarged the Panama Canal. I think the Chinese were behind that one.
Like made it a little bit bigger?
Yeah, they had to enlarge the Panama Canal.
Okay.
Because it was way too small for modern cargo ships.
Okay.
Like, they could not pass through it.
And the Chinese helped out with that?
Yeah, the Chinese helped, I think, with the expansion of it.
Okay. So the main thing is the fact that Chinese are getting a lot involved in something that we build.
Yeah, there's a lot of involvement in Panama from China.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay.
That's kind of interesting too because that like communist thing of like everything has to be like big and a monument and brilliant and a testament to communist engineering, right?
All right.
So apparently the enlarged Panama Canal, the droughts have made it unusable or less usable than we would like.
Okay.
Yeah,
So they engineered it terribly.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't take into effect the fact that it's an isthmus with limited water resources.
Right.
So making it just bigger doesn't help have more water in the canal.
So they're like,
because ships float on water.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, the usability of the Panama Canal is limited now.
Is getting affected. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, at some point they're probably just going to have to redo it.
Okay.
But also I think one thing that Trump takes exception to also is that because of the droughts, they have limited ability to pass the ships through.
Okay.
So they've kind of adopted like surge pricing.
Surge pricing?
Yeah. So ships have to pay money to Panama to use the canal, right?
Yes.
Like large cargo ships, I mean, it can be upwards of $300,000 per passage. I mean, Panama is the richest country in Central America. I mean, they have potable tap water. Like, you can drink the tap water in Panama. And like, there's a lot of money that flows into Panama because of the canal.
Okay.
And I guess they've adopted like surge pricing in times of drought.
Okay.
And I guess Trump feels that that's unfair to us because we're the main benefactor of the canal.
Right.
Because most of the stuff that goes through it is destined to America.
So we're the one who's getting hit with these.
Yeah, we're getting
prices?
hit the hardest with surprise pricing.
Okay.
Especially because like our military ships use it. I mean, you're free to not use the Panama Canal, but it takes 18 days to go around South America.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, and like the Drake Passage is some of the worst ocean in the world.
Okay.
Like it's some of the roughest sea, so you're better off going through Panama.
Pay that $300.
Yeah, pay that $300. But yeah, I think Trump takes issue with the non-transparent pricing of the crossings sometimes. And apparently there's ports on either side of the canal. There's it's a lot of this wording too. Where they're like, well, the Chinese don't control the canal, but they do control 2 out of the 5 ports on either side of the canal.
Wait, how did they get this control? Just
I think they built new ports as far as like the Belt and Road Initiative. And
okay.
Yeah, they control ports on either side of the canal.
Oh, that's not okay.
Yeah, so they're like, well, we don't control the canal though. That's Panama's canal.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, it's so it's a lot of that kind of CCP wormy wording.
It's a TikTok situation. It's like we don't take
we don't
our
really
information.
Control TikTok. It's just all
it.
the information and money flows back to us. The Panama Canal does have a vital strategic importance, both militarily and commercially for us.
Right.
And the Chinese do seem to be deeply involved. Oh, actually, yeah. So in 2017, actually, too, most people don't know this. In 2017. Panama severed ties with Taiwan and instead
oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's like blatant in the face there.
Yeah, they severed all diplomatic ties with Taiwan, which was greatly pleasing to mainland.
Yeah, I don't know how more blatant you can get than that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, there's definitely a concerning amount of Chinese involvement in Panama. Then there was that thing a year or two ago when like the one cargo ship got like jacked in sideways in the Suez Canal.
Okay.
And like worldwide shipping got brought to a halt.
Oh yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah, remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was like that for like 18 days.
Yep, yeah.
So I mean, yeah, these canals are pretty important, but yeah, I mean they were also built at a time when ships were a lot smaller too.
Right.
So there's no way to shut down the Panama Canal. I mean, it's either that or 18 extra days going around South America.
Not in this economy.
Yeah, that's not feasible.
Yeah.
I mean, the amount of fuel that cargo ships use, like, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, but what is the likely chance of him actually accomplishing this mission? What is he just trying to push them to get rid of China connection? You think trying to scare them enough to be like, hey, this guy might be serious. Maybe we should sever ties with China, or you think that he's literally like, we're gonna get this back. I don't care what happens. You think China's gonna let go of this strategic point?
They would see it as provocative.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably just a negotiating tactic.
That's what I would assume. Yeah.
Yeah, like right after Trump started talking about Greenland, Denmark just announced that they're gonna spend like an extra $1 billion some on defense for Greenland. So I mean, that's kind of Trump's negotiating style. I mean, he starts out with saying just something completely ridiculous, that's absolute hyperbole.
Right.
And then it gets brought back to what he actually wants to happen.
Okay. So you think this is just for him to get the pricing under control?
This is probably just pricing control.
Fair...
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, it's like the tariff thing. I mean, it's like he doesn't want to actually put tariffs on everything. It's a negotiating tool, right?
Okay.
All right. I mean, like with Canada, they need us way more than we need them.
The state of Canada?
The 51st state. Governor Trudeau.
He still hasn't resigned. He's not resigning, bro. He's not.
Yeah, he made it a week. Yeah, he just laid low and then it blew over.
There you go. We're not even talking about it anymore. We're past it.
Yeah. Trudeau who?
All right. Anyway, let's wrap it up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll do it again next week. I'll see you next week, guys.
Yeah.
All right.